Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Tug. Today I'm here with my co host. My name is Wellington, and that's Edward, and that's Kevin. Hi, guys.
What up, baby?
How are you guys today? How are you doing?
It's a new week at the tuck, and I'm ready to fucking give it to the girls.
Give it
Girl,
to the
last
girls.
week I was a little too spicy with Drag Race,
Hmm.
and I think it gave me a hemorrhoid because my fucking ass. I literally feel like I'm sitting on a hot stone right now. So today we're actually sponsored by Hemorrhoid Master. Product placement, is it focused? Yeah, I'm just ready to talk with my sisters and just soothe these hemorrhoids
Yeah,
because
no.
they're eating at me.
You're like doing the work that needs to be done. Like
All
you're
of them.
you're you're doing this
I'm
for
not. He is.
right, right. This is the halftime report where we give you the latest news, hot topics, trending topics, social media battles, everything that's going on in pop culture, social media, queerness, anything. Halftime report here with the tuck. We give it to you.
Here
Are
we
you,
go.
are you ready to talk about some hot topics? How you doing?
How
I'm
you
ready.
doing?
I'm
Are
ready to
you?
roll, baby. I feel like there's so many hot like shit going on right now. I feel
Hmm.
like the first one. I mean, are we doing on all ranges?
We're doing things on all ranges. We do have. Why? What was it? What was it that you wanted to mention?
Well, the first thing that came into my mind is I'm so happy that we can come here, say as much shit as we want to, talk about.
Hmm.
Because Twitter now has this damn limit on how many posts you can see in a goddamn
Oh my
day.
god.
So that has really
Whew.
been annoying because I feel like one, it's stopping us from like being in the inn. Like if you're not in the inn, you're not getting the full scoop, and that's
Yeah.
why you need to watch the talk. So
Yeah.
that's my first thing I wanted to
My
pick up.
porn Twitter is at a fucking all-time hiatus right now. It is affecting my rent, my livelihood. So Elon Musk, if you could hear this, you're a dirty ass bottom, but I'll take
No,
the money.
literally.
Pig bottom.
No, but for real, because honestly, like the fact that what the fuck is a rate limit? And who gives a fuck? Since when do you limit the amount of posts that people see?
Like what is
That
that?
concept to me was like just brand new. And also the fact that even verified people, because I'm verified on Twitter, but even verified people can't even
Period.
see everything. It's also a
You,
cap of like 6,000,
which is bullshit.
which it doesn't make sense. So no one on Twitter can see everything.
I don't know. I just find it funny too, which takes us to our next topic. That think about it. The Supreme Court just ruled that any store owner can discriminate against you if you're LGBT, and then they suddenly stop a platform where. If you think about it, it's easy for us to talk and have conversations if we want to go on protest, if we want to give resources, if we want to give different ways of overcoming the situation, whether it's like
Mhm.
mental health tips or whatever. I feel like it's happening at a very convenient time. And Elon Musk, I see you, bitch.
The Supreme Court rules businesses can refuse to service LGBTQ plus customers. Businesses can refuse to serve same-sex couples if doing so would violate the owner's religious beliefs, the Supreme Court ruled on Friday. Why this matters: the court has significantly expanded LGBTQ rights over the past several years, but now it's carving out some exceptions. The case concerns Lori Smith, who was a Colorado web designer who wanted to create and sell wedding websites, but not to same sex couples. Colorado civil rights law prohibited her or any business that serves the general public from turning away customers because of their sexual orientation. And I think that if I am in a same sex relationship and I am want to get wedding photos, and I hire any person on Instagram that says that they're a wedding photo business, and they say, oh no, we're not going to service you because you're a same sex, like, that's fucked up. I feel like business is business. Whatever you do, whatever you have mentality you have in your own mind and in your own personal life is for you to do. But what does that have to do with my business? I also feel like if I was looking for any type of business and someone denied it because of me being gay, I would literally not even care to even give them my business. I
Yeah.
wouldn't even want to even like continue to be in that space. But the thing is that it wasn't the person that were discriminated that brought this up. It was her. She brought this up and she sued and basically said that she shouldn't be forced to service anybody if they're gay because of her religious beliefs.
Well,
And it's
fuck that
crazy
bitch.
that like some evil ass people can have their own evil ass thoughts and projections and take them to like court and somehow get into the Supreme Court and like change laws. That's scary.
It is scary. I feel like it makes you think about the way we're going as a nation. When you think about not too long ago, women were just taken away, certain states were taking away their right of having an abortion or
Right.
contraceptives, and now it's like the LGBT community under attack within places that they can go and give business. And of course, that could be anything. Someone could go and that could easily become refusing people having service in medical centers and so on and so
Mm.
forth. That's we have already been seeing. So it really is some scary shit. But when we break it down to like simplicity, and it's just maybe you're thinking about like a coffee shop, again, it's like fuck you. I'm not gonna give you my business. And if you really want to get rowdy, then what's up? Like,
But it's also
you know,
like, we go to Hell's Kitchen all the time, and not just Hell's Kitchen, but we go everywhere all the time. I don't want to seem like we're just Hell's Kitchen gays. Like we're out and about all the time. I don't know how I'm going to feel for the first time when someone refuses their business because of us being who we are. Like to me, like I'm not ready for that exchange. I don't like
I think
that's
it's
what
weird. I'm sorry, my love.
no, you go. You
I
go.
feel like it's just rare for us maybe to experience it out here in the city, but maybe like since we want to take trips, like what if we go to Seattle? What if we go to Tennessee? Like whatever the case may be, like wherever we end up at, what happens then?
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, again, this is a Supreme Court ruling. So when you have a Supreme Court ruling, it rules the entire nation. It becomes federal law. So it's kind of like, this affects so many people.
It's scary to me because like it starts as they're just able to say no to us. So that's where it all begins. And like
Hmm.
obviously a lot of this rhetoric stems from a lot of just hate, and it's making a lot of this shit go backwards. But does make me nervous because like this isn't like slowing down. They're gonna start at saying that we can't eat at Applebee's by
Yeah,
holding hands and being and looking cunt. Like
yeah,
it's starting like that. Then it's gonna be the open of like, oh, now they can take us out with force, and it's scary
yeah,
to
yeah,
us and to all queer people because it's like it's gonna start here. It's gonna start at them saying no to us going to a bodega and getting fucking rap and poppers.
yeah,
Like it's gonna start there, and then it's gonna deeply escalate to where we're again like fucking back in Stonewall ages, like fighting for our lives for simple things like going to a bar.
yeah,
And that's why I feel like we nourish and we love our queer spaces, like Hell's Kitchen, like Brooklyn, like places that accept us and want our dollars. But it's trembling to the idea of that like there's gonna be a there's gonna be a time in like our history that we're gonna walk in and they're gonna say you can't sit, but the people next to you can.
right.
And that's just that I like you said, like I don't know how I'm gonna react. Am I gonna be emotional? Am I gonna automatically just want to resort to being physical? Like I don't know because like again like it just opens a door for like what more can they do to us? Like they're not allowing us to eat and at just a restaurant or be or get wedding dresses. It's like it's gonna start there, and I'm scared. I
It's so
really
crazy.
am.
It's crazy too because it's like with what motive? Like why?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what is the reason? Like when you because you just
What
mentioned
are
like a
gay people
wall.
doing to you that is bothering you so much that you need to stop us?
Giving us
Like,
your money, like what's different from our fucking dollar bill than fucking Jane and Joe's?
like
Like
you. So should we be exempt from paying taxes as well?
oh girl, period. I'll be behind that bill.
Now we're starting conversation.
Because you know what I'm saying. Like, you're letting business refuse services to people, but then I'm still paying tax dollars.
Yeah.
I'm getting my rights taken away, but I still have to pay taxes just like every other motherfucker.
Land of the
Like,
free.
it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I think that I can speak for me and Edward, like as gay men of color, as gay Black Latino men, like we fit so many boxes already of groups that are underrepresented and discriminated. So not only am I, you know, somewhat scared when I walk into a room because I'm Dominican, when I walk into a room because I'm Latino, because when I walk into a room because I'm Black, when I walk into a room because I'm gay, when I walk, like there's so many things that
That comes
I
with a price.
have that, when I'm walking into a room, I'm cognizant of.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, at least for me, the gay thing was starting to become like, okay, we were getting so many laws approved, and so much space was being created for us, and it did really look up, like so much legislation was being passed, and we were really going on an upward improvement for the community, that I actually, for in a way, kind of like forgot that what it had felt to be discriminated because of my sexual orientation. So now that like these laws are coming in a way, are coming back, and like discrimination towards same-sex couples and just the queer community in general, it's starting to become such a thing. And it's crazy. And I think a bigger conversation is the fact that the only reason why this is making national headways is because this affects gay men, but trans couples have been going through this shit for the longest. Trans people have been going through this shit for the longest,
They
but
still
no
are.
one gives a fuck about that. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why this is a situation is because it involves lesbians and fucking gay men. Same sex people that, oh, now it's a problem because that's the language that they use. Same sex, same sex, same sex, same sex. But
Yeah.
the queer community is way bigger than that, you know? And all of the issues that we go through are not always reported, and that's kind of annoying. But I do want to segue into our next hot topic,
I do
which
want to say
is,
something real quick
go
about this,
ahead.
super quick. I mean, it does obviously like because at the end, I have to understand my own privilege, and like if me and Wellington walk into like say a job, like regardless of like his resume is going to be bigger than mine, but they're going to look at me like I have more qualifications just because of the color of my skin, and like that has obviously a privilege in its own, and not saying that's right whatsoever. It just scares me. Not only obviously I'm internally scared, but it scares me for like my girls, like my friends who are like women of color, men of color, queer of color, like it it adds like that much more to their plate. And again, that's nothing that I can ever relate to because I'm not
Mhm.
of color, but it fears for me because like it I like you said, I honestly thought we were out of that like phase of like I don't have to be scared walking out with my friend who's black because they're going to look at us both like we're equals. Systematically it shows that we're not from the government, but now it adds more to my friend's plate, which adds more to my stress, and it makes me feel like what, as a queer person that is white, what can I do to advocate? But now I feel like damn, like now I can't even advocate for my own other community. Like how do
Right.
I utilize my privilege in a way that not that benefits my friends and my queers of color? Like it scares me because I don't know the same fear as both of you, and
Mhm.
I'll never be able to feel that. But like it just it saddens me to a way that like I don't know. It like even you talking about that kind of got me in like a weird spot because I'm like, I can't experience that, and I really can't imagine that. It probably feels fucking
Well, we
terrible.
definitely on that point is like we have more things in common than we do not in common. So it's like right now what we have to focus on is not dividing our focus. Right now our focus is fighting for our community and
Absolutely.
understanding that, you know, all those colors is what makes our rainbow, you know, what makes our progression flag. And it's like that's what we're doing now. We have to stick together. This is when it matters most. Um and we're gonna rock and roll.
Yeah.
No, we don't one thing about our community is we don't let down without a fight. So bring it.
And I will be fighting
And
at Applebee's if they say my sisters can't sit.
that is a perfect segue, because even though laws are being passed and things are being, there's other court rulings that are making headway in a positive way, because a federal judge has temporarily blocked the enforcement of a new Florida law aimed at prohibiting children from attending drag shows after a popular burger restaurant that hosts the shows sued the state of Florida and its governor Ron DeSantis. So the U.S. District Judge Gregory Presnell, shout out to him or her, I don't know their pronouns, but shout out to that person, issued a preliminary injunction on Saturday in response to the lawsuit filed last month by the one and only Hamburger Mary's. The Orlando restaurant, which me and Kevin almost went to because we didn't wake up that day
Yo, we
for
woke up
drag
at
race.
3 p.m.
The Orlando restaurant's owner alleged in the suit that their First Amendment rights were violated after DeSantis signed a Senate bill into law. The measure will prohibit admitting children to certain drag show performances, which is stupid because so many, like, if children have been raised on drag whether you like it or not, whether it's the drag that you see at bars or the drag that you see on your TV, or it's the straight actor that got into drag for a movie role. Children have been raised on drag for the longest, so stop trying to make it seem
Everyone
like
is.
this is something new. And I quote, this statue is specifically designed to suppress the speech of drag queens performers. In the words of of the bill sponsor in the House, State Representative Randy Fine, 1423 will protect our children by ending the gateway propaganda to this evil drag queen story time. So that's what the bill that the Republican senators put into place. So Hamburger Mary said, "Fuck that shit. That fucking bill is a fucking violation of our First Amendment right," and they filed a lawsuit against it. And because of that lawsuit that they filed, a judge was able to basically stop the law that was prohibiting drag queens from accepting children, for their drag shows. So shout out to Hamburger Marys. Shout out to Hamburger Marys.
Shout
They
out to
did.
Mary, Mother Mary.
The owners of Hamburger Mary said in a statement posted on Facebook that they're happy that Fresno sees the state's new law is an infringement of First Amendment rights. And they said, I encourage people to read the court's injunction every page and understand the case and put the politics and fear mongering aside. I agree. I think that as gay men, we need to really, really read shit. Like, we need to stay in the know because shit is changing for us on some
Yeah.
real shit, and we need to stay in the know, and we need to vote. We need
And
to
and
vote.
and to that point of voting, I feel like that's what makes it so crazy to me that if you think of how many school shootings there have been recently,
Mhm.
this is all smoke and gun and mirrors, bitch. Like they're just trying to cover up their bullshit. Why don't they put this focus and this pressure on gun laws and the way that kids are getting shot up on school grounds? You know what I mean? This is all to make take our focus off of that and paint a bigger picture. On top of that, election season is about to be coming up. People are about to starting their campaigns. And to Wellington's point, be on the in know, share the information to one another, and just like protect your sis, protect the bitch right to next to you.
It's just crazy to me, the whole ideology of like banning this thing, because like when you take away things like that, it just takes away the whole idea of visibility. Like now you're more focused on a kid, a 7-year-old boy being enthralled at a drag show, at a drag, whatever, read with a drag queen. And this is a moment that's a big coming of their age and a big realization of their life. But then again, you care more about that and you want that abolished. But then when an elementary school gets shot up, it's like, oh, what could we have done? Fucking ban the fucking guns and fucking make gun laws a lot more strict. But no, it's like
Right.
it's disregarded when it's something, again, it's just attack on
Like,
the
the Republicans
LGBT.
always want to tap in when it's shit about LGBTQ plus or
Yeah.
shit about race. But
And it's
whenever it's shit that it's literally most of their people doing the fucking problems, they always want to turn that a fucking blind eye on that shit. I
and
don't
it's
want to.
irritating because it's like, again, it's like, what matters to you? Like a fucking parent safe, no alcohol, and you have just a fucking drag queen reading an elementary school leveled book to elementary school kids is so fucking preposterous and devil warranted. But then when there's a school shooting the next day, it's like, oh, like we'll make
Thoughts and
gun
prayers.
laws more strict next time. Like there's no next time for those kids that dies in those schools, but you don't give a fuck about that because you're still gonna keep those same fucking stupid ass fucking laws intact. Like it's like
Right.
it's like, what the fuck are we putting our pussies to? Like what are we,
Yeah.
like, we're putting our tax dollars to fucking the government to care about things that don't fucking really matter. Like
and and like the reruns of it, it's like we've been having this fight since Stonewall days. Like why go backwards, why like change something that is having no negative effect? You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like we're finally getting to this place, and obviously there's still issues in the system, but we're getting to this place where we're able to feel like equals in the fucking sense of society. And it's, again, I think it's just all an act to cover up other bullshit and bigger problems that we have that I don't think our government's ready to face.
And it,
It's frustrating.
and it's also like, in a way, it kind of makes me feel like, damn, like is the visibility that the LGBTQ community getting like also a double-edged sword because we're so visible that now it's like, people that are in Senate that have this type of ideologies and mentality want to do stuff to like basically suppress us. Like, is this disability worth more
Mm.
oppression? It's like it's a conversation that has many layers for sure, but if
I
we keep
like that because it's so true. Because like I could just refer to Drag Race, like when like Drag Race being like the highest that it is, it creates audiences all around the world, whether they like it or not. You have a straight man walking around New York and they see a subway sign that has drag queens on it. Like I kind of miss the days where it was like more of like a secret society and it was more of like like a community that's more closed knit because yes, we want visibility and we want better things for us and laws enacted. But again, with those laws, having people like us fighting for them has a double edged sword. It has those people fighting against it. And
yeah,
sadly, sometimes those people fighting against it win. And it's like
yeah.
when they do win, it fucks us over. So I think that was a great point you came up with one thing because it's like visibility is really like we're fighting for it, but like then
It's also
it
fighting us.
comes with a cost because now we're like again, like we're not gonna be able to sit at a fucking Applebee's and eat because we're gay.
Right.
It's like it's
It's crazy.
when's it
Well,
enough?
I feel like that's why it's important for us to know, like, anytime we have those moments and we have the opportunity to show who we are, we're to keep in mind that we're representative of not only just us, but our entire community.
Yeah.
And I think to like segue perfectly is kind of, I know not to put that pressure onto the situation, but the way I want to reflect to it is like Heidi in Closet leaving the season. It's like, yeah, that's a moment where she was under the pressure and she had to go, but like that's a moment for her to understand. It's like you we are fighting, we are doing a much bigger fight, you know what I mean? And it's like, no, like I say it in the sense of like sometimes we get lost in the
Hold
little.
on. I just want to give you 10 points for finding a way to change us from that subject to our next topic. Like, girl, the two cannot be so opposite. It's okay to say we're done with this and we're changing the
I was letting
subject.
my sister rock too. I was like, no, no, yeah, yeah. But then in the back
Girl,
of my head, I'm like,
what? Heidi and Closet's fight was given what?
she
But
said
still, no,
Heidi
it's
in closet
true.
threw the first brick at Stonewall.
What I'm saying is like when we was like sometimes there are smaller issues that we focus on and we forget about the bigger battle and the bigger picture that we're putting on. So to that point of visibility, it's like you may not know how many eyes are on you, but you could be doing something that could cause a change. In this
Yeah,
case,
yeah,
she decided to leave because she felt she was overlooked.
yeah.
And I feel like she should have fought and been looked at. And that's what
So
I'm getting at.
like Edward said, Heidi in Closet, while appearing on Roscoe's, said that the reason that she left All Stars wasn't because of Candy and Kahana, which was a social media rumor that was going around because of all of the beef that surely happened after, but because she felt like she was being overlooked as a contestant and she was ultimately not happy in the competition. She said that when she was at Roscoe's recently. Okay, so this is my thing. You felt overlooked. Voice it. Voice it. I'm sorry, when you're on that stage, when you're in that competition, you only have one chance to be in that competition. And at the end of the day, it's a reality TV competition. So even if you're gonna check people, the producers are gonna like it. It creates drama, it creates television. You felt you were being overlooked by the judges, have your moment on stage and say, hold on, before I go to the back because I'm safe, I just want to say I've been busting my ass in this competition.
And that's the thing. It's like, I'm glad you brought that up. Bitches are scared. I'm sorry. Season one of RuPaul's Drag Race, season one, the foundation, Chanel. They said, who you think should go home? She said, me, because I've been working so fucking hard and I'm being overlooked. Like it's like you said, you need to have that moment. Like if like no shade, I understand mental health. I myself struggle, but like it's in that setting. Like if you're feeling like your drag is being looked down upon or not even looked at, speak on it.
Defend yourself.
Because like Chanel said, like no one calls me beautiful. I go on this runway every single day, like all those girls, and I get not one compliment. Talk about it. Talk. Then you want to be the first one whining at Roscoe, saying that you're being unfairly treated, and then quit. Because if I look at season 12, Heidi, I would never thought that she'd be pussied out and quit on All Stars 8.
Right.
So I think
Never.
that it boggles my mind that like
And
Like,
also you open a bigger conversation because like I again we're so pro mental health and we all have our own issues
bitch, I'm
with mental
depressed.
health, but I also hate this rhetoric that the conversation ends as soon as you say, well, it's my mental health. I don't know. I can challenge you. Because at the end of the day, you're on a fucking TV show. So just because you had your little moment, da, 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 and now it's like, well, no one can challenge what happened because you were having a mental health attack.
And it's all stars too. Like you knew that this was a mental health inducing and attacking game. Like you're not on
Like
a.
you're not new at
This
this.
isn't
You've been
season
on the
18 or
show.
19. Like you knew what the pressure cooker
Also,
enthralled.
you're from season 12. Stop acting like you were on Drag Race season 5. You
Like
know the machine that Drag Race is because
that
when you
part.
joined
That
Drag
part.
Race was already the machine that it is. If anything, season 12 was really like the new era
Yeah.
of Drag Race.
That part.
So you already know what it is. You already know what it is. At the end of the day, if you feel like you were being overlooked, you should have spoken up.
But also, if you feel like you're being overlooked, no shade, bring more.
Well,
Any
You're being
thoughts?
overlooked in a competition with Darian Lake, Mrs. Kasha Davis, and Naisha Lopez. You feel like you're being overlooked there. I'm sorry, Mama. Maybe that is something up. Like, oh,
well,
Well, onto some positive news. Congratulations. Olivia Lux has been casted as Lola in Broadway's Kinky Boo.
shout out to Fred. You were
woo!
my college ambassador at Montclair State University, so that one
Yes.
hits home like a Montclair State fucking alum. Like I know
Yes.
Wellington feels it too. Like that's like a hometown hero. Like I
Yeah.
remember seeing you. Like fucking girl, you did that shit. You're
No,
doing
you
more
did.
than Drag Race.
Kinky
Kudos.
Boots. It's such a big, big show on Broadway. Also, such a one of, if not, I'm don't misquote me, or I don't want to misquote myself, but I don't know if it's the only show that represents like drag and LGBTQ stuff right now on like in Broadway, but it's definitely one of the main
It is
ones.
one of them because you have like Rent and all the thing, but it's probably like the premiere in my opinion.
Yeah, right now, like Kinky Boots it shows drag queens, it shows LGBTQ issues, it speaks about a lot of things. I've been fortunate enough to see that show and seen people perform all of those characters. The original Lola was Billy Porter, so for Olivia Lux to step into that role of Lola,
Big
like
heels, big
All right.
heels. It's big boots to fill.
she's literally Kinky Boots, like that's big. That's big. So shout out to Olivia. I
Congratulations.
know, like Kevin said, from the Montclair State days, I know that you're talented as fuck when it comes to theater. So I know that you're going to rock this. Hopefully, we can all three of us can go out there and watch Olivia Lux in Kinky Boots. But again, shout out to Olivia. She has been casted as Lola on Kinky Boots in Broadway. Well, guys, that has been it of all of the hot
We
topics.
had highs, lows, hiding in closet, and everything in between. And I
And
love,
every
I love sister talks because it just gives us the
this is not
opportunity.
Sister Talks, babe. This is the halftime report.
Girl, we have so many
Halftime
different
report,
fucking
report.
spin-offs. Like it's All Stars, it's UK
Report.
Yeah,
versus
you
the World, it's Drag Race. Like
No, girl, I
whatever.
get it. Listen, I get it. But yes, thank you so much for listening to another episode of The Talk. This has been your halftime report where we give you the latest queer headlines, hot topics, social media trends, all. We talk about it all here in the halftime report by The Talk. Kevin, Edward, thank you so much for joining me. And
kisses.
if there's any things happening in your town, anything happening, that you are seeing that you are aware of, send it to us. DM us at the Talk Podcast on Instagram or on Twitter at the Talk Podcast. Send us some news. Send us things that you want us to discuss. Send us things that you want our opinions on because that's what where we give it here in the halftime report. So make sure that you are subscribing and you're listening to all of our episodes.
Just some bottoms about opinions. That's all we are.
Bottoms and opinions, and you don't have to listen to them, babe. But you should subscribe.
Opinions are like assholes, and our opinions are just tighter.
Honestly.
I
Well,
catched it.
I'll see you next week. Love you guys. Bye.
Love ya.